Greetings friends, Jared here from Fanboys Forever, and today I have another review for you in Spin Master's Batman the Caped Crusader line. It is the Bronze Tiger figure in their 4-inch scaled line, so I can't wait to have a closer look, and let's get right into it. First things first, if you have bought any of the Spin Master DC figures, you know how this works. You get this neat little packaging here that actually has a surprise flap, and you open it up and you get these little kind of filing cabinets of accessories. You open them up and you get randomized accessories, and I say randomized, but usually there's like 2 different variations you can get with each different figure. For me, I ended up getting the Gotham City Rooftop variant, and here is the card you get, and of course you get a trading card with each one. You just punch it out. So with that version you get these accessories, and we'll have a look at all of these later on in that section. So fans of the comics know that Bronze Tiger is a longtime member of the Suicide Squad, going all the way back to those old Suicide Squad comics. And if you've watched the Arrowverse shows, you also know that Michael Jai White, he plays Bronze Tiger in those. Bronze Tiger has also been represented in a variety of other ways. He was in Batman Brave and the Bold, the cartoon, and he's a really cool character, but this is a full-on monstrous version of Bronze Tiger, and I have to say I'm really glad that this is the route that they took. Just looking at the sculpt, you can see that he sort of has more in common spiritually, I would say, as almost a successor to like the old Masters of the Universe figures. You have these huge bulky proportions. It's kind of half man, half beast. It's almost like an altered beast kind of thing from that old video game series. So I really actually like that they did this. It's so much more exciting and so much more interesting than if they had done the more traditional Bronze Tiger from the older days of the comics. Bronze Tiger's head sculpt is pretty impressive. Really like all the little details that they've sculpted in. It's a little soft, I would say. The sculpting is a little soft for it to be a tiger head. Of course, you know, if it was a little sharper, you would have a little bit more of kind of a pointiness to some of the fur and the whiskers up here. But I do think it gets the job done. You even have the folds into the ears. You can see there's ridges into the fur right there. And on the back, it's super smooth. Looks more like a wildcat from the back. You can see that the teeth are actually all sculpted in, and even a tongue, which is actually very nicely sculpted. It appears the lower jaw is actually a separate piece that they've glued into the top part of the head. So there's a lot going on with sculpting up there. We have the main body portion, and he's got like a harness sculpted on. I like that. It is just smooth. There's no fur sculpting or anything like that. And I'm sure that's to make sure that it's reusable for different characters. Same thing goes for the shoulders and the arms over here. There's no fur sculpted, so that's kind of a bummer. That would have been a nice extra detail. But there is all sorts of cool paintwork with all these neat tampographic details, especially on the back where you have all the different tiger stripes. I actually think this is handled really well. And then when it has to break up right up here for the hinges on the shoulders, it's not too bad, because you can actually see that they have a little bit of the black actually goes onto that hinge. We don't have that over here, so I'm not even sure if that's intentional. But it does kind of a good job of disguising it, because look, if you ratchet it this much all the way, then it blends in with that one. So it's actually, I don't think it's intentional, but it's pretty ingenious the way that it worked out on my sample anyway. We do have these cool wrist gauntlets here. We also have that under it, it looks like the rest of a gauntlet is going, but they just have it orange. Probably would have been better if this under part of the gauntlet was black, and then the rest of it, you know, on the front was gold. I think that probably would have been the best thing to have done. Right here, we have this cool belt. I actually like the belt buckle quite a bit. I guess it's supposed to be like a tiger head. Not really sure, but it's neat though. And on the back, it kind of continues all the way around. We have the tail, which does have a little bit of fur detailing sculpted in, so that's nice. We also go on down to the pants, and we kind of have some these are very basic up here, but there are like knee pads here, like he's in some kind of tactical suit. But there's no fur sculpted down here, but I do like the sculpt. It's almost like dinosaur feet in a way. We have the claws sculpted, and it's just flat. Overall, he does kind of cut an impressive, kind of imposing figure. So I really do like the sculpting, and they did a great job making a monstrous looking toy that I think a kid would probably be pretty delighted with. Right, moving on to our articulation, we can see that the head doesn't really go up and down much. You can wiggle it that way, but it doesn't stay. You can rotate it all the way around though, so that's nice. We have these hinges here, and the arms can actually go almost completely all the way up, which is way more than any of these standard Batman or villain figures can do. We can rotate it all the way around, of course. We also have a single hinge right here at the elbow, and you get plenty of good range with it to be a single hinge, just kind of a 90-degree. You can also rotate that at that hinge. And these gauntlets don't get in the way too much, so you actually have pretty well free movement. Nothing at the wrist, because there never really is with these Spin Master figures. Nothing at the waist. We do have some hinges right here that can allow you to do the splits. We also have a cut at the upper thighs, which mine seem maybe a little looser than they should be. It's not too bad, but as I'm posing them, these things love to turn around. Also, we do have, and this surprised me because I actually thought it would just be a solid sculpt, we actually do have hinges right here at the pant legs. So we can actually kind of move those a little bit, and it actually goes pretty far that way. So it's kind of funny how much you can get it to do. And then it doesn't go as much back that way, and that's probably what it needed to do more than anything. We can rotate it, and it will almost rotate all the way around, but that knee pad kind of gets in the way. So it's worth noting that there are no kind of extra joints or anything at the ankles, but there never is with the Spin Master figures. The last point of articulation is kind of an extra one you get because of the tail, and it's just full rotation all the way around. He comes with this cool, almost tribal looking shield, and it's funny because does this look familiar to you? I mean, to me, it kind of looks like the Cave of Wonders from Aladdin. He went to the hairdresser and he said, do what you did for Wolverine. I still really do like this though. We also get this cool gauntlet, and it's kind of like a giant cat hand. I just think this is really cool looking. The sculpting is really nice on it. It's nice and translucent. It's all yellowy and everything. We have kind of some big spots up there on the fingers. And this stuff looks great on him once you get it clipped in. So this one is intended to go over the right hand, I do believe. And it kind of extends it out a little bit further than his actual hand goes. Then you can, of course, take the shield, and there's just a handle right here. We just move that handle over here, and we just put it in. And you have a pretty cool kitted up looking bronze tiger. And I really love the way the accessories look in this guy. As a matter of fact, unlike some of the other accessories that I've seen in this wave, I will probably display him with these. The last accessory he comes with is kind of like a little turret launcher thing, and we've seen this before in this wave. Be advised that I do not think that this rotates up here. Like, you can't take it and go up and down with it, because I think it's just barely on there. There's not very much of a plastic connection, and I have seen people break these off. Notice though that there is a bat logo and a fin up here. Obviously this is meant for a Batman figure. I'll just use the Batman from the Batcave that I have for the background over here. Just clip it into the back, and there we go. Batman can sort of try to hold the handle, but it usually doesn't work out too good. It looks fine. It's just a little extra something you can do. It might be a little weird that Batman essentially has a giant gun that's attached to his back, so that's a little strange. Now, you can actually use this on Bronze Tiger if you wish, though. So, of course, like I had at the beginning of the review, all you have to do is take that back peg, just put it in, and you can kind of cheat it. It's just kind of a standard gun as long as you ignore the bat logo and bat fin. So there's definitely some possibilities. We'll do some quick scale comparisons between Bronze Tiger and a few of the other Spin Master figures. Obviously, we will start with Batman. And they're of terrific scale together, because if Bronze Tiger is supposed to be this giant, like tiger guy, he's probably more of a 5-inch figure than a 4-inch figure, because he is supposed to be much larger. I will say Bronze Tiger is much more effective at being kind of like that big looking monstrous character compared to what Spin Master had done in the first wave of stuff, because have a look. Here you have Killer Croc, who seemed like a substantial figure at the time, but he's a good 1/2 inch or so shorter. And I think that that's some added value for Bronze Tiger, so I think that that's really interesting. And one of the newer figures that we'll compare him to is Talon here, who's about the size of a Batman figure. We'll bring in Nightwing and do a little comparison between those two. And we'll also look at how one of the female body types stack up. I actually really like the look of Catwoman with Bronze Tiger's, the cat theme, of course. So it looks really cool together. So what are my overall thoughts on Bronze Tiger? Well, Bronze Tiger is definitely one of the most fun figures that Spin Master has done in their lineup. Is he a very well-known character? Like I said, no, not really. So it's hard to say if this one will be a big hit with kids or not. I think it depends not on their knowledge of Bronze Tiger as a comic book character, but instead on their willingness or unwillingness to pick up a giant Tiger Man figure from the Spin Master Batman line. I know that I think that's probably enough. I think kids will be thrilled to have Batman fighting a giant Tiger Man. It's just neat to see him with all the other kind of monstrous villain figures that Spin Master has done for the Batman line. And as you can tell from this, I don't even have Copperhead here, and they're already doing a great job just kicking out the villain figures. I mean, there's so many now, it's great. So yes, I definitely would suggest Bronze Tiger. Well guys, that's it for me, and remember, we would love to have you subscribe to the channel so that you can check out all of our other brand new Spin Master Batman reviews. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always, and remember, be safe out there, God bless, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever.